What's up? What's up?
What's
It's your
up?
main man, Randy Boy, back again with another episode of Real Talk. Got a very special guest here today.
Yes, sir.
Sandman Sands. You want to introduce yourself? Or you want me to introduce you, Sandman?
Well, you know what? I'll introduce myself.
Go ahead. Let them know.
I'm Doug Sands, also known as Mr. Sandman. You know, I've known Brian for many years, since the third, fourth grade.
Oh man,
That's been a long
Let me stop you right
time.
there. Let me stop you right there. When did we meet, Doug? Can you explain when we met? Do you remember when we met, or you want me to talk about it?
I remember when we had our first real conversation.
Oh, it's a great conversation, Doug.
Listen, it was a conversation in the third, fourth grade, talking about the simpler things in life. You know, Dragon Ball Z. And big booties.
Oh, big booties. That's the one that's where me and Doug became great friends, because I'm actually going to have a segment about this with my next guest coming up here in a couple weeks, big booty segment. But big booties, that's pretty much where our friendship started. I was actually on the bus. I was in front of the bus. Doug's in the back of the bus talking about big booties. Oh, I love big booties. And mind you, at the time, we're fourth grade, so I started liking big booties naturally, and I thought I was weird. I thought I was the only one. And I was looking around. Man, why do I like this big African girl's big booty over there? Why am I so attracted to it? And then so I thought I was weird for like a good 2 months. And then one day going to school, I just heard someone just talking about, oh, I love big booties. And I went up like this. And I was like, me too. Me too, Doug. And that's how our friendship got started. Doug, I just want to take this moment to I appreciate you and your openness and of your love for the female anatomy, because I had the same love and I still do.
A big boy is something to be admired.
Oh, it is.
It's beautiful. I think I fell in love the first time with a big booty when I saw. I knew what I liked when I saw the Back That Ass Up video.
Ooh, man.
9 for the 2000s. I was like, what, 7?
Yeah, they're wrong for putting that on.
They're probably wrong. But man, I saw it and I was like, that's what I like. Yeah. I didn't know I wanted a grown woman until that
moment. Yeah. But sorry for cutting you off, though. I had to put that in there. You did bring up a nice memory of how we first met and how you really helped me as a child realize that I'm not so weird after all.
It's okay, man.
But go on, tell more about yourself.
So I'm also I work in the medical field as well. Well, more so healthcare. I don't deal with medicine, but I also work in healthcare. Just a guy who likes anime, loves football. No, nothing too crazy.
Yep. He loves anime, loves football. This is not our sports show, but we do talk about business, and business of football is one of my man's topics. We will be talking about that coming up. But before we get to that, speaking of big old booties, let's talk about dating in America, because as a man, there's not just one girl with a big booty. There's a lot. And for a man, you have to learn to keep your eye on the prize and not look at all the big booties out there, even though these girls are walking with them pretty much butt naked.
I mean, they out.
They out.
Especially out here in the metro Atlanta area. There's plenty of big booties everywhere. But it's about discipline, man. It's about discipline. There's always going to be something bigger, something more beautiful, something whatever. Yeah. But it's about like, what you really looking for? Are you just superficial, just want a big booty girl who looks good? That's cool, I guess, if that's what you want to do. But I'm not saying you can't have a little bit of that, but like you just can't make that the only thing. You gotta look at like, what's this person goals? What do y'all goals align? Like, what are they trying to do? Like, and it's all subjective to each person. If what you want is a more simple life, you want to have a family, settle down, have a house. Well, guess what? It's going to be hard to do that with a girl who just about the fast life. You out here looking for something that's more, simpler, more to traditional, like family values and everything. But you got somebody in a lifestyle that doesn't necessarily match that. Yeah. And just because she got a big booty and she cute, that's what you're trying to go for. You're trying to make her into something that she's not. That ain't her fault. Yeah. She's who she is. That's what she wants to be. And she has every right to do that. But at the end of the day, That's your decision. If you want to try and do that and try to change her into something, just like we tell, like like we supposed to tell these girls, like, yo, you can't change a dude who he is. That's all you can do is provide the tools of change, but you can't make someone change.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I believe the first thing about before you try to change someone else, you got to change yourself. And
That's facts.
Doug, you said a good point is discipline. A lot of people lack discipline. Like you said, there's always going to be a girl with a bigger booty. For you girls out there, there's always going to be a man with more money. You know, but there's not always going to be a man or woman that's more fit for what you need. And so you have to understand that even though she has big booty, even though she's very flirty and she knows how to get along with me at the time, that might not be something I want to give away a girl who's really God built for me to go after something that Brian's eye sees, or that big booty out there, or for you girls out there going after Bill Gates or these rich athletes who don't care about you. You know, you got to be disciplined and be satisfied and content with what you got, because you don't know what you have until it's gone.
Because we can talk about the guys first. Let's be fair and talk about the guys first.
I'll talk about them guys all day. You go ahead, though.
There's a lot of dudes out there that y'all weird, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, you don't know how to talk to women. Y'all think that not every girl's about, like, just showing themselves off for the gram and this other stuff, where you could just spread money and they'll do whatever and they'll just go along with the go along. And, you know, dudes don't understand that not every girl's like that. And so they come across these girls or not even just that. They don't even come across these girls, right? They're so busy on a certain type. Remember, I was just talking about it. You looking for somebody in a different lifestyle than what you are looking for. And you go for these things and then be confused. You simping, you out here spraying all the money, tricking off, sapping, whatever word you want to use for it, doing all of this and just getting played. Just getting played.
And then they get mad at the girl for playing.
And get mad.
You played yourself, man.
You played yourself. And I'll be looking confused. I'll be like, what do you mean? You flex with the cash and she flex with the ass. So I ain't getting none.
Let me add my 2 cents. I think a lot of this comes from guys growing up with no girls. They grow up, they get a little money, and then they spoil these girls, and then they get mad that these girls are spoiled. It's just an endless cycle, and I think it can stop with the man. It could stop with the saps. Stop paying for these girls, and then once you start paying for them, be happy with what you paid for. If you're gonna keep paying for them, just accept that you're paying for a prostitute at the end of the day. And that's what you turn these girls. I'm saying, if you're tricking off on them and you get mad that these girls are using you because you're tricking off, you created the prostitute. There's no prostitutes without men. There's no prostitute. These girls can't have nothing to sell if men ain't buying. And there's too many saps out here buying, Doug, and sitting there giving away all their funds, giving their heart out to some girl who hadn't earned it, and then they want to blame the girl. And it goes vice versa too. Women do the same thing. They all go after the same man. They get cheated on. They look past it for a couple weeks, and then after a few years go by, they get mad that the dude has other girls, and they start asking for marriage. It's like, that's what it's been. That's what you were going after. You were going after the top 1% man because he has all the girls. You weren't going after him because he ain't got no girls. And then the very thing that attracted you to this man starts to be your turnoff. And it's just a vicious cycle in America. I believe we all need God. You need to put God first. Stop putting your fleshly desires first. And I think it'll get better. But that's dating in America. Let's transition a little bit further, Doug. Once we get to dating, like, how do we make it to the altar and how do we stay married? That's what I want to talk about.
Well, I'm finally about to hit the altar. As you know, I'm about to be married in a couple weeks, in like 2 weeks. My man's going to be there as well. So it's different. Like, dating is different than actually dealing with boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever you want to call your relationship, and trying to get to that level of marriage. The same thing you did to catch them won't be the same thing to maintain them all the time. You still got to do certain things, of course. Like, you still got to go on dates every now and then. You know what I'm saying? Not even just now and then, still keep dating and stuff, but like with that person. That's what we don't be dating around. But be dating, still keep them, keep dating that person, still take them out to places and all that. But you're gonna have to learn to communicate.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to, that communication is key. Like when y'all and try not to go to sleep mad. That's something that I have to work on. Sometimes I'll go to sleep mad. I'm like, dang man, I shouldn't have even done that. Like we should have talked it out or try to like solve things before we even went to bed. But that's something very important too. Try not to go to sleep mad. You want to end the night with y'all both on the same accord. You know, if you want to make it there, you got to actually be selfless to certain, like you should still look out for yourself to some extent. Like you just don't want to be, if you're dealing with somebody, and you got to have certain level of respect for yourself. You can't just let them walk all over you and do whatever they want. But at the same time, you do have to give a little bit of yourself away. Like you got to make compromises on a lot of certain things. I think probably the hardest thing is, and I think a lot of people don't talk about it, is when y'all first move in together. Now, some people don't believe in moving in before marriage. I don't believe that. I believe you got to live with this person a little bit, at least like a solid 6 months before going to marriage. Because, bro, let me tell you, you find out a lot about a person from a living situation. Y'all been not living, having your own space and everything beforehand, and then y'all get together, y'all live together, and now it's like, yo, there's little things that you didn't even know that you was annoyed about.
Yeah.
Like for example, my fiance, I had my lotion like on the bathroom counter. She hates that. She does not like lotion on the bathroom counter. That girl was having whole fits and everything about that this tiny little thing, because usually she has a lotion in a basket somewhere or whatever, and not on the counter. Sometimes you get into, and it just be little petty stuff, but then y'all come to a realization and like compromise, work things out, and start moving as a unit and thinking as a unit. And that's probably also the most important thing. Move as a unit. Like I said before, y'all gotta start talking on goals and stuff that's for the future. And one of the biggest things I think a lot of people also don't think about is like, if one person want kids and the other person don't want kids, I'm gonna be real. I see no point in that shit continuing. Like there ain't nothing. You can't have half a kid. Like unless Shawty like changes her mind or the guy changes their mind, like, and you can't change their mind. Like, and sometimes it's because they're scared because of things that they've seen in their life and they don't want to to be like that. But you have to reassure them like, hey, we are actually in love. Those situations are people who had to deal with something and they just made the best out of it. But we're in love. I love you. I hold you down. Even if everything goes wrong and we do have the worst outcome, we still have that level of respect of dealing with the children and all this stuff. You gotta, sometimes that's the case where they're just scared and they're using prior experiences and stuff that they saw. But some people, it doesn't matter. They just don't want kids. And that if they don't want kids, then it ain't gonna work. Like y'all might as well, that's a big thing, and y'all might as well call it quits then before it even gets any further.
And so that's probably most of the things we could talk about on dating in America. Doug pretty much hit everything on the head. Talked about from the male perspective, female perspective, all the things that we can do. Got to compromise, got to have respect, got to be selfless. All the things people need to do to get along in relationships. But before we change topics, I like to hit one thing that Doug did not hit on. We talked about the man. We talked about the women. Now let's talk about the government, because they are the third party in these relationships. And what about marriages, definitely. And I'm saying relationships in America. I'm saying even people like my boys who aren't married, their relationship has changed a lot by the government being involved, because the woman has used those kids as a weapon against them, because it's incentivized bad behavior. And if you look at the statistics from 1970, especially in the Black household, once the government gets involved, the success of relationships just go down and go down and go down, because they, in my opinion, they took what is a covenant between two people and the Lord, and they made it a contract. They made a marriage a contract that only benefits one party. If you get into a marriage, the sole priority has to be the woman, because if she's unhappy, she'll take your stuff, she'll take your kids, and 99% of the time, family courts, they don't care who's the better parent. They don't care who's at fault. It's going to go to the woman. So that just gives a different power structure, and it's not a natural power structure. And just my suggestion to everyone out there, I believe marriage is between the man and woman and God. And the best thing to do is to keep the government out, because
what I will say with that, right? A lot of people, now granted, yes, there's two things can be true at the same time, right? Mm-hmm. There is some truth to the fact that, yes, there's women out there who are manipulating the system, right? But also at the same time, right? I also still, because I always like to put accountability, right?
Yeah.
That's the only way you're ever going to learn anything. Mm-hmm. Some of these dudes be impregnating chicks who, by all means, you shouldn't impregnate. And it's not that hard to really see the breadcrumbs of who this person is.
Oh.
And that because you could think of the same dudes, and then you also think of like, yo, I also warned him about Shorty a long time ago.
And Doug, trust me, let me stop you there, because I am not giving my homeboys an out for these awful girls they pick. You know what I mean? They do have to pick better girls. It is on them. The girls shouldn't use the system against them. They shouldn't. And there are some bad apples out there. I'm just saying, why is the system in place where a man can be manipulated so easy? You know, and that comes with the man. I see what Doug's saying. The man has to vet these women. They have to know them from the ground up before they get their seed with them, before they lay with them, before they do anything with them, because the consequences are so drastic. You
gotta have discipline and standards, man. Mm-hmm. You gotta have some discipline and standards. Like, this ain't even a topic of ours, right? Mm-hmm. But just a quick side note, like the whole Tory Lanez thing, right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Yes.
Can you explain what's going on there? I'm not too versed either.
Okay, so Tory Lanez thing is basically, bro was out there. He was smashing Meg. He smashed Meg's best friend as well. Mm-hmm. Then basically he goes to a Kylie Jenner party about it or whatever. I guess they got an argument. They all get in the car together. Then from that point on, all we know is that Meg's been shot in the foot. And then you're thinking like, okay, well, there's only a couple people in the car, which is Tory, the best friend, and the driver. Mm-hmm. And pretty much all signs point to Tory. Mm-hmm. So then there's a whole thing with it. First, she says he didn't shoot her. Then it's like, okay, no, he did shoot me. Maybe because she was just like, okay, I still care for him, or just trying to protect him to some extent. I don't know. I don't know people's reasons for that. But basically, you know, then they go through the whole court case of all this. Then Tory's trying to like insinuate kind of like, hey, maybe the best friend shot her, but it really mostly just points out to Tory.
So what's your reason for the story?
But my point is also about accountability thing. Mm-hmm. You could have prevented all of this. Wasn't smashing two friends at the same. Who's dumb? Right. How stupid you gotta be?
Yeah.
To be smashing two chicks who are best friends at the same time, and go to a party with them, and then ride back in the same car, son.
That's an exceptional story of stupidity. I'm talking
who
about
rides in the same car.
Yeah.
Right. No. You
know I do. You know I do that.
Would you ever?
Yes. I'm saying I'm gonna make sure I know that they know how to act for it. They're gonna put them together. I let all my.
You driving in the same car?
Yes.
After you smash both of them.
I don't smash girls anymore. But I'm saying when I did, I'll make them all ride together. I ain't married to y'all. Y'all all my friends. And I tell them like this. I used to tell my.
But you told him. Told him. Yeah. He ain't telling nobody.
Oh yeah. I'm talking about. That's a whole different story. That's a simple.
You told that's on them. You tell them. You tell them like, hey, bro, I smash a friend. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But like you ain't gonna go in the car and know that this other person and she's and she's a whole solid 6 inches taller than you, dog. Like imagine this chick's 6'5", and now she yelling at you with all this stuff. Yeah. Like you ain't about it.
That goes back to the simp version. I'm saying the man, the government has nothing to do with that. That's just a dumb simp. I'm talking about when a man's lying down with a woman he's sapped in love with because he's confused, which is his fault partially, but that happens. And he's doing the right thing. He's trying to pay for her whole apartment.
Yeah.
He's trying to pay for all his kids' stuff. I mean, I ain't say no names. I'm saying, I see that. Hey, we'll talk about this off camera. But yeah, he's paying for the whole apartment, paying for all the, and she's just constantly just shitting on him, for lack of a better word. Just treating him like trash, making him be her slave, go clean this up after he's been working all day, walk the kid to school after he's been working all day and she's been at home. It's just like, why does a man have to put up with that? Because the law says so. And then when after he gets done paying everything, after he gets done holding down the house, she can just leave and charge that dude $2,000 a month and then continue to treat him like dirt. And he's a sap, and it's his fault, but it's still, that's when you get the government. You made it more of a fault than it ever had to be. And to the girls out there that are doing this, I'm not even saying it's a female problem, because if the rules were reversed, I'm saying men would do the same thing to women. Men would kidnap kids, move across state lines, and then get a portion of her paycheck if that's what the laws allow. So I'm saying it's not a woman thing. It's not a man thing. It's a systematic discrimination against the man. And it hurts the kids. It hurts the women because they become single moms. It hurts the man. The only people it helps is the government, because child courts have the most money flowing through it, and the government gets a piece of that each and every time. They pay some people's salaries with the money that goes through family court. So it's big business, and the big business is against the man, the woman, and the kid, and it helps the government. And a lot of stuff that's been happening, it's been against the common people, and it's only helping a certain class of people. And dating in America, marriage has definitely became one of those things that don't help any of the people that are involved except for the government. And that's my big rant on that. I'm probably going to hit that every chance I get, because I'm 30 and it's hard to find a good wife out here. You know, I got parents, family calling, when you going to get married? They don't understand the world I'm dealing with. I know God bless you to find such a good woman. Oh yeah, but you can admit women like that are far and few between.
I'm not gonna say they're far and few between, but
your woman's a dime a dozen, Doug?
Of course.
I'm saying you can't find her everywhere.
Oh, you said that, Dom?
Yeah. No, she's special.
Yeah, she's special. Yeah,
so I'm saying that's a.
No, you can't. No, like yeah. I think everybody has somebody who's right for them. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, it's always gonna be hard to find. If anything that's good, anything that's worth it, it's typically hard to do or hard to find. It's gonna take time, and I think she's perfect for me.
Yeah,
she ain't perfect for other people, and I'm not perfect for other people. But for me and her, we found each other, and I'm gonna be honest, it gets harder as you get older because you're not in a lot of spaces where you're gonna be around the opposite sex a lot. Like most people, fields will either be dominated by one or the other, or honestly, a lot of times it ain't even worth even talking to somebody you work with, because it can lead to a whole bunch of stuff that ends with you just looking bad. Yeah. It ain't even worth it, to be honest.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time on this topic. I want to get to my man's topics. Just gonna leave it off here. As hard as relationships are, I believe it gets even harder if you add the government.
One could say some of these dudes are blindsided.
Oh, yes. You can get blindsided by dating girls in America, especially by the government. And that's a good little transition to our next topic with my main man here, Sandman Sands. What's this topic? Why you bring up blindside? What do you want?
This is another type of relationship.
That's what I'm saying. What are you getting?
That people getting blindsided. Right here is the guy from The Blind Side.
What's been going on there? Briefly explain, sir.
Which for a while he's been talking about how he didn't like his portrayal in the movie because it had him looking like he was stupid. Don't know anything. Don't even know how to play football. Yeah. Even though he was already had Allstate and stuff like that. He was Allstate.
he needed Sandra to come up there and say, "You protect the quarterback like it's me." He's like, "Huh? Yes, that's what I do. I protect."
They thought this a poor, helpless monkey. They just trained him up. That's what the movie was. And he talked about how it's bad portrayal. But now, coming up to fruition and everything, basically, information's found out that he wasn't adopted by them people. they lied to him, and that he has not been getting royalties from that movie or anything. And now he's figuring out that he was used and he was placed under a conservatorship.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like I know exactly all the ins and outs of a conservatorship, but I know one thing, that conservatorship is not being adopted.
Yeah.
I know at least that much.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the only little bit I know about conservatorship is the thing that happened with Britney Spears. That was the thing that her parents had her on. And they was able to take a lot of money from her and keep a lot of the money even after so many years. And then on his conservatorship, I didn't know that it said like it was either supposed to last till 25 years old, or when I guess when the courts deem it or something like that. I'm not too sure. I'm not.
Right. So to specify conservatorship, that's a letter that they sign where I get the rights to this person's money, this minor's money or something?
Yes, you can have control over them. I don't think that's the only thing, but yes, that's a part of it. I think, yes, you have control over their money. And what's weird is, like, of course, he's playing football, so he's probably not really paying attention because he's getting money from football. For how long he was in 10 years, I guess.
Yeah.
And then he probably sat down and was like, dang, I've been looking through and there's something missing.
Yeah.
Some things ain't happening, bro. And you wouldn't want to expect that somebody who says they love you and everything would steal from you. So he probably thinking about all these other things. Now this is all speculations, right? This is what I would feel like if it was me and stuff. He probably going through all of this, looking and just being like, man, where's this money at? Where's this? No, my people wouldn't steal from me. They loved me. They adopted me. Man probably looks into this stuff. I'm not adopted? What? Conservatorship? What is that?
So what was the money that he saw? What
he didn't see the money.
I'm saying, how much did his family get?
I don't know exactly how much they got. They're claiming, so they pushed back and they're claiming they only got $15,000 from the royalties. But let's say that is true. Let's say that's true. Let's go with that, right? You made money off of this whole story. You do like tours and stuff about this. You wrote a book about, well, the original book that this is written about, that the movie's based off of. No, they didn't write a book about that. That's not they gave the rights to that. But they wrote a book of themselves about doing stuff like that. And now it's all, and people look at you and it's like, oh, you're such a charitable person. All your money that you've made after, that's based off this man and this story and this part where it's like, oh, you're a good person. It's all a lie. Yeah. Or at the very least, it is a lie because it's not telling the whole truth. And it'd be different if they came up, because we know, right? Like if you actually knew the story, you kind of know, right? Yeah. Like I would have just said, oh, okay, like I played football, I played in high school. I know that they recruited people and some people stayed at other people's houses. Yeah, we know. So that's why I just assumed not that this man was actually adopted, but apparently the thing he was adopted. But like, I mean, it's a shady situation. They made money based off of the whole situation, even if they didn't get direct money from the movie, which there's gonna have to be some legal paperwork to figure out and all that to actually get how much they actually, because these are their claims. Of course, they're gonna say that. Yeah. I didn't get no money. What you mean? Nah, I ain't getting no. Of course, they're gonna say that. So, and they're gonna have ways. He's gonna have to figure out ways to sue and get the actual paperwork. But they did, even if that was that little bit of money, they still made money based off the story, based off the goodwill that they had, based off of all of that, because people saw them as the white saviors to this poor and disenfranchised youth who doesn't know how to read or write or even do a play, regardless of the fact this man was all state and this man was already good at his position. Yep.
So what you're pretty much saying is, where money gets involved, stuff gets a little funny. With the Blindside, there's a lot of money involved, starting to break up their family, and starting a lot of questions.
What family? He wasn't adopted.
Well, their unit, their little story is getting broken up because a lot of money is involved. And that's going to bring us to our next topic, our last Douglas topic. where there is money involved. Why are running backs not getting paid? And
well, Brian, you played running back.
Thank you.
High school.
I was about to say,
what would you think they believe that's why they're not getting paid?
So when like I said, when money gets involved, I've been a part of it. When money got involved, when politics got involved, things start getting funny. Like you start hearing weird things getting said about you. So like when I was growing up, I always was getting praised for my God-given ability, strong, fast. But then when I go to Tennessee and there's money involved, there's a bunch of politics involved, and when there's a conspiracy involved not to get people drafted for 2 years in a row at Tennessee, I don't know if that's ever happened, but when you start seeing what's involved, that now you can see how does Brian Randolph all of a sudden run a 4.7? Oh, because it makes the coach look better when we ain't got no players on the team. That's why we're 500. It's not that you can't call plays. It's just I can't call players. And the old players are not the ones I got. I was Dooley's guy. So the new players are the good ones. And I could just see just when money is there, stuff stops adding up. And this same thing is happening to the running backs.
Well, you see, the excuses that I hear that they say, right, is that the running back position is one that is at high risk. You're just going to get beat up pretty much your whole career. You probably only got 5 years at best. And they're saying that it's not that hard to get you can have a great running back, but you can still win a championship with just a pretty decent running back. That's what the belief is, and that's what they all say.
Yeah.
But to me, I'm like, okay, fine. Let's go with that. Let's go with that, right?
Yeah.
And that's probably true for a good amount of teams, right? There's probably is true for at least a solid 15 teams. That logic is true.
Yeah.
But would you say that about the Giants?
That's what I'm saying.
Saquon Barkley is one of the top pass blockers.
Yeah.
He is also a really great receiving back, and he runs the ball well. And their offense is all built around him. He is clearly the most valuable player. If that man was not on that team, the team will just stuck.
Yeah.
So where's the excuse in that? Like, all you have at best on that one is that, oh, well, he can get injured in this and that. I'm like, well, I mean, so can anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, a wideout, I mean, all it takes is one good hyperextension of the knee, and there goes the ACL, baby. Like, that happens. Well, didn't that happen to Odell?
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, okay, and Saquon is the most valuable player on offense you have.
Yeah.
The quarterback's clearly not.
And that's my whole thing. I'm not interested into the conspiracies or to why they're saying that running backs aren't important. I played football, and I know for 100% fact, rarely the quarterback is the most important guy on the field. Most of the time, I'm playing against Amari Cooper, Derrick Henry. We got Sony Michel, Todd Gurley, and it's like those are cases. I don't care who the quarterback is. It really matters who the running back is. Who's the receiver? Who are you throwing it to? Who's the blockers at times? So just the whole thing that the quarterback is always going to be the highest paid position on the field. I understand it's the most important, but he's not always the most valuable player on the field.
Not on every team.
And I can see why this has happened over the course of football. And the real honest thing is it's just fake. Because I played football, and quarterbacks, especially the quarterbacks they have in the NFL sometimes, are definitely not worth the money they've been getting paid.
The quarterback, you can't convince me that the quarterback of the New York Giants deserves more money than the running back of the New York Giants. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You can't convince me.
Not in that equation. Yeah.
No.
And
now that may be true for some teams. Like, I'm not here to say that every team's the same, and you shouldn't move the same just because another team does it. Yeah. But I mean, if your team is built around your running back, then you pay the running back the most. Yeah. If your team's built around the quarterback, you pay the quarterback the most.
But we cannot beat around the bush. We can say the obvious reason why this happened. Obvious reason is most running backs look like me, Doug. And it's just harder to get those people paid as easy as it would if most people look different in that position. Like a white boy at quarterback, more times than 10, they're going to get more chances than a black boy at quarterback. It's just what it is. And they're going to be more held to more value than the black quarterbacks for no reason at all, even though the hardest thing on defense, the cover, is a mobile quarterback. And I've been knowing this my whole career. I know it my whole life. If there's a position on the field where you can't be slow at, it's running back, cornerback, quarterback. It's like they all need to be athletes. They all are skill positions. It's not even a black or white thing. It's really just a mindset and no more game managers, no more pocket passers. If you want to be the highest paid player on the field, you got to be able to do it all. Same thing with the running backs. You can't just be slow and be a big power back. You can't just be a running back. You got to know how to catch. You got to know how to, you got to be able to do it all. You got to be a 5-tool running back, just like you should be a 5-tool quarterback. And football ain't going to be like this forever. It's slowly changing. You're starting to see, the complexion of the quarterbacks get a little darker. You're starting to see the requirement of quarterbacks to be able to run. Every quarterback across the board, except for these old guys who got to get out of here, can run. And things are going to change. I believe things are going to change slowly or surely. But with the running back situation, I got to say it's changing slowly, primarily because of who's back there toting the rock most of the time.
Well, to bring on to your first point about it, which I'm glad you did bring about the whole quarterbacks is shifting. Mm-hmm. So luckily, there is more black quarterbacks out there.
Yeah.
But to bring on to your other first point, who's the highest paid running back again?
So
who's
I don't know who it is now, but I'm talking about when I used to keep up with this stuff. Because when I got out the NFL, I didn't really want to watch it. I was butthurt. A lot of players, a lot of safeties in there couldn't take my spot in college, so couldn't take my spot in high school, but they're playing in the league, so I didn't watch. But since I've been watching, when I truly got fed up watching, I saw that Christian McCaffrey was the highest paid running back for some time in the league.
He could not be now.
He might not be now, but I'm talking about when he was. I could name about 5 other running backs that I wouldn't want to tackle before I got to tackle him. I'm not saying he's great or not great. I'm not saying that he's probably one of the best white running backs ever. He wasn't the best running back at the time, and he got paid. So I judge running backs not on the amount of touches, not how you're in the game plan, because they were force feeding, especially with the Panthers. Like 70% of the players that ran to him wouldn't let the quarterback throw it downfield. I'm talking about the results, the effectiveness. Like you can get the ball 30 times a game, get 100 yards, but if your team is losing, don't say that's the best running back. And just like if you're a quarterback, if you're a quarterback on a losing team, don't say that's the best quarterback. And to that point, if a quarterback's on a great team, like half the Alabama quarterbacks I played, don't say that's the most important position on the field when they got Derrick Henry back there running down our throats. Like there has to be a level of logicalness looking at everything. And when money gets involved, logic goes out the window. And I'm going to say this the day I die. That's the only way Brian Randolph ever ran a 4.7 is when politics and money got into it, because
that's why I even ran faster than 4.7.
Yes,
that's crazy to say you ran a 4.7.
Yes, starting 5 years in front of 5-star recruits that you brought in specifically to take my spot, and you gonna lie and say I'm slow. And to this day, I never said who was lying, but that's for another show. And that's gonna be a big one, because on that lie, I made a deal with this certain person that said, if I run faster than 4.5, he said, I'm gonna buy your dinner for a whole year. Never heard back from him. Never got a single dollar from him. And my career has got affected by it a lot. God's will, though, so I ain't holding no grudges. But, if I didn't believe in God and God's perfect plan, I'd be hurt. Oh, no. We're going to drop. I'm going to make a big show when I drop this name, because it's going to be with sugar. It's not going to be with salt, because I really just simply want my money.
I like salt.
No. If you can, I believe I'm not in the league because God wanted me not to be in the league, and I was killing myself. I was ramming my brain. So he did me a solid. But don't lie to me and say you're going to pay me, pay for my dinner for a whole year if I run a 4.5 and I don't run a 4.4 and I don't hear nothing from you. And the only call I get from you is talking about why you're telling the media that we didn't support you. It's because you didn't. You didn't support me. You blackballed me, and you spread lies about me. Even, I couldn't come back from God's will. So no one's mad about that. But I am mad I didn't get my free dinner for a whole year, because we are in a recession, and it's hurting right now. So about $60 a day. I like bringing a girl with me. When we get that show out, I'm gonna put out, hey, bro, you owe me $60 times 365.
I'm always here for that one.
Oh yeah, we gonna like and subscribe.
We know who.
Randolph Productions just is what it is. Got my main man Doug here with us. We hit our 3 topics. We talked about Blindside. We talked about the running backs. We talked about dating in America. Anything else you want to talk about before we let our people go?
Do we have a question? You said there was a question for me.
Oh yeah, I forgot. My bad. Before we get out of here, we did get one question for my guest today. It's coming from a good friend of mine who played football with me a long time. You want to read this question, Doug?
It says, ask him what's like to jump offsides twice in a row.
Let me tell you this.
That wasn't me. That was another associate who jumped offsides or no, held somebody every time and got this man. We saw touchdown. This man had to come back every time.
Yeah, I used to score like 5 touchdowns a game, and one of my friends would hold each time and bring it back, and it was cool. But this is another question. This is a different game. If you can recall,
you pushed me.
One time, Doug got in at linebacker, and he jumped off sides twice in a row. What happened, Doug?
You pushed me.
So let me tell you from my point of view, I was sitting there at safety in my safety position behind Doug. It was a blitz, and Doug was not up on the line, so you can't shoot the gap. And all I was saying is go up on the line. And so I pushed him go, and he ran across the line trying to get a sack, and he would have sacked the quarterback if the whistle did not blow on the first time. Second time, it was 100% your fault, Doug.
All right. But I didn't do it twice. That first time you pushed me. And one, you see me now. Like, I wasn't this size. And Brian was even probably about this size, probably bigger back then too. So I wasn't even close to this size, and Brian was bigger. Let me tell you, he might have thought he might have done a light little shove. Bro, I was like 160, which doesn't make sense that I'm at linebacker and he's at 60 and I'm 160 and he's probably like 190. They gave me it wasn't a light shove, bro. They said,
get you some, Doug. Get you some.
It got me all sides, man. Now the second time, that's my fault. Yeah. But I was just because I was trigger happy then. I was already like, but the first time was my fault, so I'm not going to accept twice.
Yeah. But that's probably going to wrap up our show, Doug. Definitely going to have Doug back on. Next time, our series is transitioning from dating in America to conspiracy theories.
Oh, God.
Whatever. You don't believe in any conspiracy theories?
I believe.
We ain't going to talk about it now, but
certain things.
Thank you. So whatever my guest conspiracy
that one
theory,
can say is a conspiracy theory.
And everything is a conspiracy. And if 2 people are working together, conspiring to work together. So there's always conspiracies going around.
Should I have my tinfoil hat?
Yeah, we're going to wear our tinfoil hats, put our conspiracy. And conspiracy theories was actually a word given by the FBI to deter critical thinkers. But we'll talk about that in a different show. Next show will be about conspiracy theories. But I got one more show about dating coming up. And then we're going to conspiracy. Get you some Randolph gear, millions. Randolph Productions, please help out the show. Watch on Randolph Productions, like and subscribe. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Got my main man, Doug. Appreciate you, same man. And
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah. We're going to be back at it soon. God bless. Have a good one.